Welcome to Politics Done Right on KPFT. I am your host, Egberto Williams. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Give me a call at 713-526-5738. That is 713-526-KPFT. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Williams. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Williams, your host. I have a great show for you tonight. Tonight, we're going to show what civil conversation on controversial issues can do for America. Okay, that's what we're going to do today. Jacob Santien, my engineer, thanks for being here as usual.
Always a pleasure.
Hey, my friend, how's it going?
I'm especially looking forward to this because this is probably going to get me in trouble with some of my lefty friends.
But wait.
Who cares?
Wait a minute. Wait. Hey, you can't start talking until I make that introduction. Okay, let me make my introduction. Today, we are actually honored to speak with Angela Box. Angela Box, that controversial teacher you guys saw.
Former teacher.
That controversial former teacher that had some issues with Islam. And we're going to have radical Islam. You know what? That is the reason I wanted you on the show. The reason I wanted you on the show is that you are actually you don't let folks put words in your mouth. And I think that is important. I think it is important for you to tell people what you feel, tell people what you believe, and also, however, at the same time, have people tell you what they believe and see how there can be some sort of a resolution. One of the reasons I first talked to you on Facebook, then we spoke by phone, was specifically that reason for those. There was a little comment that you made on ABC when you did that interview, and I said, you know what? I love the way she addressed in as much as I completely disagree with her, I love the way she addressed
Which comment?
I'm not going to talk about that yet because we have some other housekeeping to do. But anyhow, before we go any further, again, as I said, Politics Done Right will have Angela Box as the featured guest. Who is Angela Box? She is the former HISD teacher that got into a conflict with the school district and parents for some disturbing references she made towards Muslim. After the event, I wrote this blog, and I placed the blog in the thing about the incident with Angela. Angela Box was not happy about my post. We spoke several times over Facebook and by phone, where I invited her to Politics Done Right to have a civil discussion. What kind of discussion, Angela?
Civil
discussion.
CIVIL.
Thank you.
For the win.
Amen. It is that time of year, though, folks. It's that time of year again. It is that time where you show KPFT that, in fact, you cherish what KPFT brings. KPFT brings you real fact-based news, music, and community information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a week. I mean a year. I spelled that wrong or wrote that wrong. In between the dialogue with Angela Box, I will be asking our kind listeners to consider pledging to KPFT. But before, I want to give a big thank you for the most generous donations from Barbara Madera. I call her Barbara Madera. And Albert Ponton, I call him Alberto Ponton, who donated at the kpft.org website today. Please, folks, follow the lead. Give us a call at 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. What number is it again, Angela?
713-526-5738.
Absolutely.
Ooh, that was good.
Could you
That was
ask some of
good.
your folks to send some money over here to KPFT to keep truth on the air?
Truth is relative to liberals, but I would recommend all conservatives to also donate to keep the dialogue alive.
Hey, hey.
That's good, right?
No.
We don't want to keep dialogue
We
alive?
will talk about that thereafter.
That's not
This is
good?
KPFT. But folks, please remember, KPFT 713-526-5738. We have quite a bit to raise today, so please give us a call. We want to keep this station on air. We want to also have several invitations out to Angela, and we have another guest here as well. What's your name again, my dear friend?
Me?
Yes, you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Claver. Claver like flavor.
Claver like flavor is here.
That makes it very easy for everybody to remember.
Excellent. But anyhow, before we go any further, or without further ado, what I want to do is go to the blog of the week.
It's time for the weekly blog post.
Well, folks, I actually went to the movies. This weekend I went to the movies. I don't like to go to the movies, but it was my friend's birthday. It was the birthday of my dear friend this weekend. Well, we all went out to dinner, 3 couples. Birthday boy wanted to go to a movie after dinner. With all the attention given to American Sniper over the last few weeks, I was sure that would be the chosen movie. And you know what it was?
Hooah!
Okay, Angela, this is my blog of the week. Thank you. I will say up front that I hated the movie. I think
Oh my
the
God.
fuss had... Angela, remember? Thank you. I will say up front that I hated the movie. I think the fuss has been used strategically to increase its box office prowess. That said, our soldiers do what most Americans are unwilling to do. They are in fact true patriots, as they have signed up to possibly die for whatever our flawed leaders send them to do. I did not hate American Sniper because I believe snipers are cowards, or, as was articulated by Michael Moore, I do not believe any soldier that fought any war can be considered a coward. A sniper is a soldier with an important job in war. I did not hate the movie because I thought the movie dehumanized the Iraqis. American movies have always dehumanized the other, women, minorities, and everyone in between. I did not hate the movie because it distinctly inferred that Chris Kyle's foray into the Iraq war was somehow related to 9/11. This is a lie that those on the right and their media machine have refused to let die. Clint Eastwood, the director of American Sniper, is simply continuing that modus operandi. I hated American Sniper because I believe it was effective. It was effective in merging war as a prerequisite for patriotism. I hated it because it made killing seem rather antiseptic. I hated this movie because it promoted the tenet that a victimized America had unfettered license to kill. The ending of the movie was indeed moving. Chris Kyle's murder was a tragedy. The Chris Kyle story, embellished or not, is an American story. It was very easy to get caught up into the moment. Throughout the entire movie, I was living vicariously through the eyes of Chris Kyle. I was ashamed that I was not only rooting for his survival, but for a savage American Iraq policy, a policy that killed thousands of innocent civilians on a false premise. At the end of the movie, the theater erupted in applause. The movie had fulfilled its purpose. Yes, the movie was effective. Our unending propensity for war will continue. The American populace has been successfully programmed to give tacit approval. Mission accomplished, Clint Eastwood. Mission accomplished, military-industrial complex. Before we go further, I want to talk to Bob over in Central. Is Bob not there in Central right now?
He is not there right now.
Okay, well, we need to get Bob to let us know how it's going with our donations. But, folks, please do remember it is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. We need to keep KPFT on air.
On the air. I'm with you.
Because, Lord, liberal voices are not represented enough in the media. So, by all means, let's have 90.1 continue.
Talk to me. Spring hasn't even come yet. And this portends to be the Egberto Willis Politics Done Right 2015 year. And for that, be the first one. Be the first one to donate to this show that's only been on a few months. Just think where we're going to be at the end of December. Maybe you'll have to get Mixed Box on for like Christmas Eve. What do you think?
Hey.
Number to call, 713-526-5738.
Hey, Bob, so tell me, what kind of offers do we have to give our great listeners out there?
Well, I think around here, lots of folks drink coffee, and we have a lovely coffee mug, and it always surprises me that more people don't ask for that as a thank you gift, and we offer these thank you gifts, as a way of conveying our appreciation, the station's appreciation of yourself for making a donation to keep this radio station alive, and there you'll have it. When you get up in the morning and you have for yourself a bowl of oatmeal or whatever you grab, on your way out the door, and you're drinking coffee or tea from a KPFT cup. At least for me, that was something that I did when I made my first or second donation. I've even got a cup that looks like an ear.
Mm-hmm.
The handle was fashioned to look like an ear. It's probably a relic at this point. But
how much can they get that for?
That's for a $75 donation. And you can make that donation if you'd like. If you're listening on the internet tonight, you can go to kpft.org. There's a place for you to make a donation to support Politics Done Right and the other programs that you probably or may listen to through the day, through the week. And that number to call, if you want to call and speak with Deborah or myself here tonight, is 713-526-5738.
Okay, look, Bob, thank you very much for this. We're on now with Angela Box. Angela Box. Look, I appreciate that, Bob. I'm going to be coming back to you in a little bit. Okay, my friend? Okay. Angela, we wanted to start with Islamophobia, but before we do that, you were really acting up when I was talking about the American sniper.
Yes.
So as usual, I always tell people on my show that the audience direct the show, right? In other words, the audience a lot of times changes the direction of my show. Rarely would it be that somebody comes in to the show and sits down here and change the show. You're going to change a piece of the show right now by your reaction to
my gesturing, wild gesturing during your reading of your blog.
By the blog, yeah. I want to hear, because why do you disagree with what I said?
Oh, so much. I actually went last weekend to see the American Sniper.
Mm-hmm.
I completely disagree with your characterization, not only of the war, but you said the antiseptic killing of Iraqis. I think that is, or the interpretation of what was going on. I think when we have an Iraqi leader in the field that is a radical Islamist that takes a drill to a child's head, and a Iraqi sympathizer to the Americans is then murdered right in front of his family. I don't think that's antiseptic. I think that, hang on, let me talk. I think that these soldiers, especially people like Chris Kylan who've been out in country, as they say, 4 tours of duty, 1 tour of duty, have every right to come back and say exactly what they think and believe exactly what they think, because they have seen horrors that we've never seen. And I'm sorry, but radical Islam is the evil of our time. World War III has already begun. Now, whether or not liberals in their candy-coated world want to acknowledge that is really up to you guys. But the liberty-loving people of the world have already picked up on it.
So let me ask you this: I like the way you characterize liberals, because I don't really see it that way. But let's get back to the subject as far as antiseptic, the antiseptic killing. This blog really had very little to do with Chris Kyle.
But
the blog, and that's why I was hoping that you're listening.
My head was exploding a little bit as you were reading it. I'd have to maybe read it again. But I felt like you were being a little purposefully controversial about your blog.
No. Let me tell you what I was doing. What I was doing is this. It wasn't about Chris Kyle. When I went to the movie, and let me go from the back end of the movie to the front end of the movie. I was... When I said I hate the movie, if you take a look at how I said it, I also hated that I was liking what I was seeing. But here's what. But and it's important. It's important because what I think happens in our society is that we do this glory, glory, hallelujah thing without looking at how did we get here. And I think when I was speaking out there with a whole lot of our friends, including Jacob Santillane and a few others, I said, you know what? Somebody gave a connotation that this guy was a killer. And I said, no. This guy was doing his job. This guy was doing what this government sent him to do.
So you think that this whole war on radical Islam is invented? You don't think that these people have been at war with, normal people in westernized civilization since the 1400s? There was a reason that the Crusades were started, and it wasn't because of Christians. Now, every single major... No.
Okay, go ahead.
Stop. Every religion in the world, minus Buddhism and Shakeism, because they've always been very, kind of under the radar and peace and love. But every major religion, Judaism, Christianity, has had a reformation. The one religion that has not is Islam. Why?
Look, first of all, I'm not going to answer that as far as why. And let me tell you why I won't answer why. Because I think the whole point is being missed. And what I think is very important that people get is, if you notice, the president does not use the word beforehand. We're going.
I'm snorting when you mention Obama's
we must
name.
be President Obama.
Oy.
President Obama. We must respect the office. We respect the office. President Obama.
President Barack Hussein Obama. Yes,
that's fine. Great. That's his name. Now, the reason
Obama was that Barack Insane Obama
that is not kosher. That's not right.
I like they use a Jewish reference. That was good. That was very
This
nice.
is actually a pretty professional show, so we have to keep it that way. But let me say it this way. What we have to realize is there is no good that comes out of if 10% of any one people are doing bad under the name of that people's culture, or if 20% are doing bad under the name of that people's culture. Stereotyping them in such a manner does very little good in the aggregate.
You know what else does not do good in the aggregate is to not acknowledge that 15 to 25% of Muslims are radicalized. Now, they may not, they may not strap on suicide vests. They may not genitally mutilate little girls. They may not stone women to death. They may not throw gays off a building for being gay. But 15 to 25% either tacitly or advocate for the goals of radical Islam, which is a worldwide caliphate. And I'm not making that up. Now, people can get after me for my off-color remarks, but everything I've said is actually factually accurate.
Look, it is not, but I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Google it.
Yeah, no. Google is. I'm a software engineer, so I know what searches mean. Okay, searches only mean whoever gets the most information out there to be placed up in the front of the thing.
Okay, so if you Google Muslim and pedophilia, in the Quran there are
Oh my God. Are we really going to go there?
Oh, you want to have a frank discussion?
Okay.
Let's have a discussion.
Go ahead and talk about what you want to say.
In the Quran, there are dozens of references to pedophilia. In the Middle East, it goes on by many Muslims. I'm not making this up. It happens. Now, what I'm looking for is people like Zuhdi Jaffer and
Ali,
your son Ali, who unfortunately, because of her experience with Islam, has become an atheist, which I find sad because I feel like, God is for all of us and God loves us all. But, I'm looking for more of those people to stand up and really take the religion back. And people like Zuhdi Jaffer are actually trying to do that.
Stop right there. You know something? You just made a breakthrough. You said take that religion back. Mm-hmm. So you want the 80% that are...
I've always said that.
No, but you want the 80% that currently, that you, in your claims, the 80% that currently are very good Muslims to... Normal people to somehow do something about that 20%.
Absolutely. I would actually recommend before coming on tonight, I did a little research and I watched about half of Zuhdi Jaffer's documentary Obsession. Mm-hmm. He is a lifelong Muslim and he goes in and explains why American Muslims aren't standing up more. It is a frightening documentary and it is on YouTube. It is free. I say everybody should go and watch that.
And that is what scares me the most about what goes on and actually scares me. You see, when you had the issue in school, mm-hmm. right, and you started speaking about...
I did never say anything in school.
No, I'm sorry. You're correct about that. When you had the issue with Tommy's Garage, mm-hmm. and you said the issue, and then it was made an issue because you taught children, I would be honest. I would be concerned of having my child, if my child were Muslim, in your class based on what I saw on Tommy's Garage. Wait, let me finish. You saw the video that I had on
mm-hmm.
the thing that displayed
and that's
it.
what pissed me off.
I know that, and listen to why I'm telling you this. I don't know your heart. I cannot tell you anything about your heart. All I can tell you is what you put out there, and what you put out there that time left an impression that. First of all, many looked at you and considered you a racist. When I wrote the blog piece...
Islam isn't a race, last time I checked.
No, it's not a race. It's not a race. It so happened, however, that it has racial connotation because it is just like Hispanic is not a race, Latino is not a race.
Right.
Okay, so it's the same thing. But
it's not.
We have certain classifications that we do, and we have implications with that. So whenever people think about Islam, they think about those brown people that have a certain type of hair.
See, I really take offense to that liberal characterization of those brown people.
No. But what I'm saying, it is okay for you to take offense to that. But most people categorically characterizes Muslims or others that way. So all I'm doing is putting it in that frame of reference. Now, what I'm saying is when we saw what you had on Tommy's Garage, let me tell you, I wrote that blog twice. The first blog that I wrote on that was the first blog that I wrote was a staunch defense of you. The first blog said, she's not a racist, she's just confused.
I'm not confused.
Let me finish. The second blog I wrote, the update of that blog says, but I think she's a bigot, but she does not know. And let me tell you why I said that.
Oh, I didn't know you called me a bigot. This is getting interesting.
No. It was with reference. You read the blog.
No, what got me angry was the YouTube that's gotten like 30,000 hits. Yeah. And when I said, what the hell is this? And I go, oh my God, that's that guy Egberto who wants me on a show and wants me blogging for the coffee party, which I am more than willing to take on any liberal any day, any time. But I really take, I don't want to say take offense because that's what liberals do all the time. They scream,
Wait,
I'm
let me stop you right
offended.
there. No. Angela, you have to think about it this way. You have to think about this. When I'm referencing you, I am not going to reference you. I was teasing you about Tea Party earlier on. Mm-hmm. I was teasing you about being conservative. But I cannot have a real dialogue if I just say that Tea Party girl or that Tea Party. It kind of blocks the conversation.
I agree.
And when you say that liberal, the liberal connotation, it sort of hurts the conversation. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Everything that makes you who you are today, whether it was liberal Republicans or liberal Democrats, the freedoms that we had from, let's say, the Emancipation Proclamation, Abraham Lincoln, a liberal idea.
He was a Republican, by the way.
I know that. Isn't that what I just said? That's what I just said. He was. So what I'm saying is, we acknowledge those truths about what liberal, liberal values.
Classical liberalism
have done
which
for
is now
the,
conservatism.
I mean,
It's true. Hey, man, you had me on. I'm just telling you some truth. I mean, it is what it is.
You did make that one was fun. That appropriation was very, very. I mean, you're good.
You.
I love that. I love that one.
That
was a good one, Angela.
Thank you.
But anyhow, here's the issue. Here's the issue. I think we have to make sure, if we're going to really have a dialogue instead of trying to score points. I don't want to score points on you. I want to see where exactly you are. And to tell you the truth, I want to know if you really believe some of the things that you say.
Okay, so what are you questioning what I said? Now, let me, I wrote a blog post today, which is on angelasoapbox.com.
Right. Did you send it to me?
I think I did. I will. I'll definitely send it to you later.
All right.
But I've been really considering motivations of people and, certain people who are coming after me and their motivations for doing so. And the reason I'm going forward with legal action against a certain person is because of a false and malicious press release that was
I read
disseminated.
The press release, yes.
Right. It was it was cut and dry, slam dunk, never happened. That's why we're going forward with this action. He knew his target audience. I worked with a majority black school.
Right.
I worked with majority black staff. He knew if he put that out there, he'd be like, ooh, I'm going to get her. His motivation, though, and he said this several times, he didn't like what I said about Islam. Now, my question is, let's have a discussion like you and I are doing. This is what's going to be interesting on getting into, because, I think if you and I really distilled it, we're not that far apart. Well, neither of us want beheadings, stonings, genital mutilation.
And it's a discussion that should be had without constantly facing the accusations of bigotry in the case of Bill Maher or Sam Harris.
And what I think you just hit it on the money. And what I try to do with Angela, and what I told Angela that I would like her to stop doing when she's talking with us is, you get into that modal where the liberal this, the liberal that. I'm not just a liberal. I'm a lefty. I'm a lefty liberal that has a whole lot of values, and not only that see value in everybody.
And I think if we can get beyond just throwing bombs at each other, because I was saying to someone today, I think maybe 10% of the populace is reachable. We are extremely polarized.
We don't need to be.
Well, I mean, but the fact of the matter is, it's okay to have very distinct beliefs.
Yes, but
as a conservative, I'm constantly called a racist, a homophobe, a sexist, a misogynist, even though I'm a woman. Go figure. But we get leftists love to throw those things at us all the time.
Hold on a second. I think you're misrepresented. But hold 1 second. Let's get some money out here. Why don't you put a plug in for Politics Done Right?
I'm really enjoying sitting here with Egberto, and I think everyone should donate and throw in $5. And the number is 713-526-5738. That's 713-526-KPFT. KPFT.
Yes, folks, we really need to keep this on air. And I'm going to. Angela has a. First of all, let me tell you something, folks. I sat down in the green room and spoke to Angela. I've spoken to Angela on the phone several times. This is a very she's conservative. She's a very intelligent woman. I was having a little fun with her earlier, saying eventually the real Angela is going to come out, that liberal hiding inside. But she says no way. Angela. She said no way is that going to happen. But that's okay. But folks, we need to go ahead and have you call 713-526-5738. Again, please, that number is 713-526-5738. Is Bob in the office to give us any information as far as, can he tell us what else we have to offer?
Right. Please call 713-526-5738. This is Pacifica Radio, 90.1 FM. It's almost 45 years old. It's been bombed off the air a couple of times. It's been shot at.
What?
And why?
It's terrible.
It's because of some of what you hear from day to day. So there's some reasons to call. Put us to work. We've got some folks in here for the next couple of shows. Juan Flores is in for Latin Jazz. He does in a little bit. Maurice is here. He helps Akua Holt on Sunday nights. We're all ready to take your phone call. Minimum pledge is $25. Sometimes people ask for $40. And the station needs your donations to stay alive. At the present moment, the radio station is totally listener sponsored. So it's your donations that keeps KPFT alive. Again, that number is 713-526-5738.
Thank you very much, Bob. Thank you very much. Folks,
thank you, Egbert.
A great week. Thank you very much, whoever that new caller is. We had a wonderful week last week. We made our goal. Now let's make our goal this week. In fact, let's double our goal this week. We bring you fact-based information. We bring you different information, and we even allow folks to come in here and have their say, don't we?
The belly of the beast. Here I am.
There you go.
I am in Pacifica, Washington, Radio Land.
Not Washington.
I know, but I lived in LA. We had Pacifica Radio in LA too. Trust me.
Okay, señorita. Señorita Angela, going back to the topic of Islam. Let me ask you a question this way. Everything that you've said about radical Islam, right? Mm-hmm. At some point in time in our American history, we could have said of some folks as well, couldn't we? Think about it.
Okay, so I'm just wondering when in the history of man we've had Jews and Christians beheading people for not converting to Islam. I mean, converting to Judaism or Christianity, or slicing off genitals of little girls, or throwing gay people off buildings, or suicide bombers. No. There is no equivalency. Okay. And this is what the civilized world has got to get through their heads. Liberals, conservatives, the fact Bill Maher, Sam Harris, and I, we are in complete agreement on this.
That is scary. That is very scary.
It's not scary.
Let me tell you why it's
logical.
Scary. Let me tell you why it's scary. Let me tell you why it's scary. Let's tell you why it's scary. And it goes this way.
There's no equivocation between the two.
I think a lot of us fear is a dangerous thing. Fear is a very dangerous thing.
Yeah, but if things are happening, it's not fear, it's reality.
Now, things are happening, right? Mm-hmm. But it's much more dangerous to live in certain parts of Houston than anything any one of these supposedly terrorists are able or capable of doing. But let me.
And I've worked in those areas, FYI, as a teacher.
You know what? That is what. So that is kind of.
I don't think my critics have, but I have.
That's actually a pretty darn good statement. You have gone into certain neighborhoods that many folks haven't, but that's beside the point.
And taught there.
It amazes me. It really amazes me the way you think to some extent. But let me qualify a few things, okay? And listen. The true story. I mean, when we moralize about the behavior of a minority of a sect, we must be very careful, because our history is not that history of purity that we would think it is.
Okay. Again, you're giving a moral equivocation.
No. It's not a moral equivocation.
Yeah, it is.
Let me tell you why it's a moral equivocation. If true history were revealed about what certain folk went through in this country. Let's go specifically back to slavery. And the reason I must go back to slavery...
You mean what the Democrat Party promulgated?
Again, that isn't really...
Truth.
But it isn't effective what you just said. Let me tell you what I mean. It isn't... Listen. We're not talking about Democratic Muslims or Republican Muslims or the Muslims. You're talking about Muslims. You're not talking about either.
But you just decided to go back and talk about slavery.
But it was important, because what happens is this. What I think you've done is, I think you've taken one group of people, right, And in as much as you say, well, it's only 20%, in your prose, many times it comes across as you're painting a brush. And you may not mean that, but hear me. You may not mean that. But in your prose, you paint this picture that categorizes a whole sect. And what I back up to is when I go back to issues like slavery, I look and I say the true stories of slavery, if we were to take a look at the indignities that occurred then, when you talk about only they cut heads off, when you talk about only they cut genitalia off, we must remember that those are the same things that happened to people who looked like me, from people to it is important. I need you to understand this for one specific reason, because humanity, and I'm not trying to blame, I do not blame one set of folk in the aggregate, and it's important not to, because once we do that, we must always look back into the mirror.
Okay, so what I'm trying to gather my thoughts around here is this: you do realize that. Oh God, there's so much to go with here.
Please do.
No, I'm not even going to get into the whole slavery and things like that. What I do want to say,
that's curious that he would bring that up.
I know it is odd because Middle Eastern Muslims look at Black Muslims as I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but they don't particularly like them.
I know that.
Okay, so I'm not saying.
But the same happened with the first Baptist.
No, but what's the equivalency of the triangular African slave trade and the terrorist acts that we're seeing today? What's the equivalency of the triangular slave trade and what we saw with Charlie Hebdo? There is no equivalency with that. I mean, what's the rationale behind even broaching that subject of slavery? That's something that happened 100 years ago, 150 years ago.
Why is it not relevant?
No, you brought the point up. You please tell me why is it relevant?
It is actually, why it's relevant is because we use the tenet of a superior moral value of our religion. Hold on.
No, now I want to jump in.
Yeah, but I have to finish my thought. You use the equivalency of our superior moral value based on maybe our Christianity or simply our democracy as somehow not having us perform these type of vile acts, but somehow it's within the Islamic structure that allows that. Let her answer.
No,
Hold on. Let her answer.
Okay, here's the deal. Wahhabism, which was affiliated with the Third Reich, and this is the truth, you can look it up, is associated with 80% of the mosques being built in this country today. Now, you might not want to acknowledge the fact that radical Islam is flourishing all over the world and anti-Semitism is flourishing all over the world. Look what happened the other day in the New York City Council. They're going to Israel, and a bunch of nut job Islamists came and had a huge protest about it. And I'm verklempt. Claver, please take over with the slave trade because I don't understand this moral
what I want to understand
at all.
It makes no sense. Are you saying that the atrocities that were committed? I'm trying to make the connection here, connect the dots.
Sure.
Are you saying that the atrocities of the African slave trade were somehow some sort of it can be attributed to Christianity?
No, I'm attributing it to the people who did it, period. I mean, it doesn't, you see, for me, religion doesn't have a value.
Yeah, but see,
that is my own, I'm a humanist.
But okay, so the atrocities that we see in the triangular slave trade are counter to the teachings that we see biblically between Genesis 1:1 and Revelation 22:21.
No. I mean,
okay.
Not true.
So, definitely true.
Look, I've read the entire New Testament. Well, you're speaking Old Testament. Go ahead.
No, he's not.
You just said Genesis.
Genesis 1:1 to Revelation 22:21.
As far as
the entire Bible.
I didn't hear Revelation, but let me tell you something, okay?
But
actually,
what's happening?
Hold on.
But the terrorist acts are being done in the name of a religion in which, within its so-called holy book, these acts are actually advocated and suggested and encouraged. And that's the difference.
Let me tell you one thing, however, my dear friend. Anybody can pick up any one of their books and decide that they want to act in that book. I can give you passages in the Bible. The reason I don't want to go there is for every Muslim passage you can give me, I can give a corresponding... Hold on, Angela, and hold on that. Claver. Sorry about that, Claver. But for every one of these things, and that's the reason I don't want to play tit for tat. The reason I brought up slavery is I wanted to remove the moral superiority of any culture over a next. You see, what I do is I believe in bringing folk together. You cannot bring folk together if you are under and I call it the pretense that somehow, we have this because Western civilization is the preeminent civilization now.
Thank God.
Angela. Because it's a preeminent civilization, we go under the tenet that somehow anything pre is somehow not. When we have the aggregate building of society on all societies. In other words, what I try to do is, and let me tell you what I think, where I think we have to go. We have to go, Angela. In order for us to move forward, I know you want to go out and say radical Islam, we need to call it out. No, we need to eradicate the cockroaches from the planet. That's what we need to do. We need to eradicate all that is bad from the planet, whether it is...
Please don't moral equivalent Christianity, Judaism to radical
It's not about moral equivalency. I said we go ahead and we finish. If you want to eradicate evil, you eradicate evil.
Amen to that.
Okay, and evil is not delegated to any one religion. And what I'm saying is what we do...
But nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
Don't you think that's what folks infer from the way?
There are many sources. There are many sources that cause challenges and trepidation in our society. This happens to be one of them, and it happens to be a primary one that's wreaking a lot of havoc on our society. It needs to be called out. It needs to be dealt with firmly. You don't pacify such people. You don't negotiate a treaty with such people. Their purpose is to eliminate you from the planet. One of the God-given rights that we have, as articulated in our Declaration of Independence, is the right to defend ourselves. I mean, it's something that's within our DNA. If somebody tells you a tsunami is on the way, you're going to run and defend yourself.
And who do you think that doesn't?
We want to defend ourselves.
But who does not? Who is it that doesn't want to defend themselves?
No, you don't want us to defend ourselves.
How
you don't want us to call out what's really going on in the world.
The first purpose in defending yourself is to properly identify who is trying to kill you, who is trying to take your life. I mean, to hell with political correctness. If someone wants to kill you simply because you exist and because of your belief system, God has placed within you the right to defend yourself.
Well, when the folks get up in the mornings, when the average person gets up in the morning, that average, except for the militants, that average person, that child, that mother, that father, when they get up in the morning, they're not thinking, how best can I kill an American?
You're right. And so did 80% or 90% of Germans. But 10% of Germans wreaked havoc.
Nobody is discussing doing anything with them. What we're talking about is a very small minority of people on this planet who have an aim in mind, and that's to eliminate everybody in this room. And they won't care about your opinion or the fact that you wish to pacify them and live in peace with them.
No, it's not.
If you don't believe as they do, they will behead you.
No. I mean, let me tell you what really happens in that we do. And watching some of these, did you want to say something?
Oh yeah, I think in addition to having this kind of conversation, having discussions about the more problematic elements of the Muslim world, it's also, I think, important to recognize and celebrate and discuss those Muslims who do object to what's being done in their name. Like specifically, Bill Maher a couple of weeks ago praised the mayor of Rotterdam, who is a Muslim, and he said, "If you don't like freedom, or if you don't like freedom, for heaven's sakes,
go home.
Yeah, pack your bags and leave."
Yes, I agree with that.
I don't like freedom.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
No, but you see, I don't think so, Angela. Maybe
that's what we're talking about.
Maybe that is what you mean, Angela.
And
okay,
Egypt's
that's not what
leader,
you're saying.
Sisi is probably going to be taken out by these nutcases. Eventually, he will be martyred by these people because he is a Muslim leader that is saying the rest of the Muslim world, it's time to have for lack of a better term, a come to Jesus moment.
When the Lebanese head of Hezbollah says that these people who are killing folks over cartoons harms Islam more than the cartoons themselves, something's going on. Something's happening.
But
something is shifting.
And you know why it's happening?
I hope it is.
That is but it's not about hope. It's about people not understanding that humanity, or wherever humanity lies, has similar thoughts and similar. That's
where you and I. You know where all of us would probably be in complete and utter 100% agreement. Let's say, for instance, we did not have a rash, an epidemic of terrorist attacks all over the world against what I would consider people who really just want to live in peace, right? We're Americans. More importantly, we're Texans. And if someone of a different faith wants to come to this country and practice their faith, well, I would bring cursings on anyone that would deny them to do that. Okay, so. But the problem becomes when we want to live in peace and they don't want to live in peace, then what are we to do? We want to live in peace with them. That's part of what is protected within our Constitution. Our government is supposed to allow them to worship as they wish to worship. And we want to work with them, go to school with them, intermarry with them, become family with them. I mean, just let's have assimilation.
What you're saying,
but when it gets to the point of no, man, we're going to kill you. No, we're not going to tolerate that.
Look, what you just said.
And if there were racist, if what Angela said, if there were racist comments in a time of peace, in a time of assimilation, in a time of, hey, we are all one human race, and we are living together. And then all of a sudden, she makes some comment about how they dress, or the food that they eat, or something like that. That's out of bounds. But in time of warfare, there's always satire.
Well, I mean,
in times of warfare,
and the one clarification I keep making is I'm not talking about the Muslims like you and me that get up every morning, want to live in peace. But Claver, I'm going to take one thing you said. Even if we were living in a time of peace, which we are not, I still have the right to have a criticism about it. It's not pretty and it's not lovely.
You have a right to say whatever you want to say.
You're right. And you know what? I'm offended by what the left does every single day in this country, but I don't go out of my way to ruin their lives, to get them fired, or to threaten their lives, and that is a big difference.
I'm not going to get into that left-right debate, because the same way you feel about the left attacks is how I feel about the right attacks, which means you probably have some issues on both sides. But here's the reality.
Yeah, he's right about that.
Yeah.
I mean, we do. we attack the left pretty vicious. I'm guilty of that. I raise my hand.
Thank you very much.
I'm pretty vicious.
You have to be honest.
I go for blood.
No, but I guess what I'm saying is that I definitely feel like, left and right, we've got to find, there's got to be somewhere, some different,
Angela, let me tell you what, I'll be honest with you, okay? I'm listening to both of you, okay? And I like both of you, first of all. Yeah. Honestly, I genuinely like both of you. And not only do I like both of you.
I haven't made up my mind about either one of you two yet.
All right. But anyway.
Better like me.
But anyway, but here's what I mean. I think, whereas I think there's a lot of what both of you say that is, I don't want to say too much to form. It is, I don't want to say scripted, because it's not scripted. You're definitely not scripted.
No.
But what I'm saying is there's an ideology issue here, but the ideology is beyond not a person missing words, but there's something within the idea.
No, it's a belief system. I mean,
right.
Look,
and what
it's
I'm
more
saying,
than an ideology. It's a belief system, and here's why. This is why an ideology is so important, because when you ascribe to an ideology, okay, then what you are acknowledging is, you know what, I'm not smart enough to be God. I'm not smart enough to figure it out myself. What I'm looking at is time-tested, time-honored solutions to problems that society faces. And over time, these tenets and principles have proven to work for society. And so we ascribe to those.
Stop right there. I have heard that script.
It's not a script.
Let me finish. I've heard that script. And let me tell you what I mean by I've heard that script.
Yeah, but you have an ideology that you ascribe to.
No,
and you believe in it, and you think that the challenges of society should be drawn out of the ideology.
But here's what I'm saying, okay? I'm a numbers guy. That's all I am, a numbers guy. I only believe in fact-based numbers. I only believe in what the numbers tell. Okay? And if I were to analyze ideologies, and this is not what this conversation is, and nor do I want to take it there, but I'm just going to make one quick statement, and that is that numerically speaking, the ideology of the right today has been fatally unsuccessful for the middle class. Yes.
Hold that thought. I'm a numbers guy, too. And the number to call right now is 713-526-5738.
No, he really didn't want to go down that path. He was telling the
let's
truth.
Let's hear from you. What do you think? And next week, we're not in Fund Drive, and I hope the phone lines burn with comments about tonight's show.
Because it's good.
The number to call for donations, again, 713-526-5738. Please call.
Bob, thank you very much, folks. I'm so into the conversation with Sharon.
Is this thing over with? I can't take it.
Oh, you've got 10 minutes, so go ahead and finish.
I had something to say, and
now you forgot. Well, let me.
I need a vodka. I need a vodka terribly
We're
bad
going
right
to
now.
go
I need a
to
martini.
this.
You don't get vodka, but you know what? I don't want to open because this is about a 3-hour show for the part about.
Oh my goodness! I'm in the same room as a leftist, an admitted leftist, self-identified.
Self-identified.
I need a vodka badly. Texas distilled.
We'll
go. Anyhow,
we'll get some Texas vodka.
Let me tell you, I am enjoying having both of you in here, but I want to really stress that I think we should get to this point.
I know what I wanted to say.
Okay, I'll let you say it. Go ahead and say it.
No, today someone posted on my Facebook a picture. Uh-oh. No, shut up. It's not bad. It was a picture of.
Have you seen her Facebook page?
Okay.
Her Facebook.
by the way,
I referenced her Facebook page in my blog where I said, "Oh my God, why does she have a Facebook page like that?"
Because I'm awesome and I kick ass.
Make your point.
Anyway, so there's a picture of two gay guys walking down the street saying, Muslim and gays united against hate. And I just facepalmed myself. I was like, do these guys not realize they'd be the first to go under Sharia law? And this is what I think we need to wrap up this conversation with. The end goal of radical Islam is a caliphate, is Sharia law.
In the United States, huh?
Yes, I challenge you, Egberto, because I do like you.
Yeah.
I think you need to watch Zuhdi Jaffer's Obsession. It is free online. Just YouTube it.
Angela, I watch everything.
It.
Put it this way: I watched you on Tom's Garage, and not only that, I gave Tom Garage a whole lot of traffic.
Yes, you did. Oh, yes.
A whole lot of traffic.
Yes, you did. And
so so you guys, if you guys were making money,
give us some traffic. That's what I want.
Yeah. So we Raging Elephants.
Hey, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that here, young lady. Although you know what, a Raging Elephant. Let me tell you. Actually, I am going to.
What should happen is we should repay the favor, and we should have
you on the show.
Anytime. But not only that, I'm going to hook up with you, and we're going to get some. Look, I really have a goal. Okay, I'm one of those people who really want to bring the country together. I'm not kidding you.
Good luck.
I am, Angela. You know it starts. You know how it starts.
No, he's sincere.
It starts. No, listen to me. Let me tell you what I'm. Let me tell you. But let me tell you better. Let me tell you better. The reason I have folks like you on, and now that I've met
folks.
You're a folk.
Crazy people.
You're not crazy. No, let me tell you what I'm trying to do. What I'd like to do, right-winger friend of mine.
Yes.
It's okay. You can admit it. She is crazy. She knows it.
Yes,
I'm crazy, but I'm right.
No, you're not, but that's all right. But here's what I'd like to do.
We got to have him on.
Here's what I'd like to do. We need to get, like, I really, in talking to you and having fun and all of that, you're not all bad,
Thank you so much. You're not a devil. Well, thank you, Egberto. No, I really appreciate
that. But what I mean is, you actually have a following. I watch what happens on Facebook and the traffic patterns and that kind of stuff. And you have there's a particular group of folks that have a following. And with that type of following comes responsibility.
Thank you for that call.
Thank you very much, Jacob. With that kind of following comes responsibility. I have a large following. With that following comes responsibility. I don't have
a following at all, and I'm totally irresponsible.
No, I'm pretty sure you have a following as well. So what I mean is this, okay? I think it is important for you, in order to make a difference and not just be caricatured. A lot of folks caricatured you when you went through your thing. I didn't caricature you. The reason I didn't caricature you is I personally saw a flaw. I actually called you a bigot but a nicely bigot. And it was a nice way in the way.
I'm a nice bigot.
Okay.
You're not going to take that out of context.
I'm playing.
I disagree with
I know.
that.
I'm playing with you. I'm playing with you here.
Not
okay, but
cool.
here.
She's a nice bigot.
No, here's what I'm saying.
Yes,
Angela. Let me finish. We don't have much time. I want to finish what I'm saying.
Let's go out with a bang, not a whimper.
T.S. Eliot. Anyway.
Or Big Chill.
Anyway.
You were saying she was a nice bigot.
Oh, good God.
All right, but what I'm trying to say, when I talk about following and that sort of stuff, when I say it has responsibility, I think a lot of us get into this sort of a media business, right? And we get our notoriety, and we get on what people like to hear, whatever, and we stick there and we don't deviate. When I saw your Facebook page today, and those people told you, fear Egberto, he's going to twist everything that you had to say. Before you sent me that text, I looked at it and I said, I'm going to get a text from this woman saying that she's not coming. And I'm not done. And I said that she's not coming. And believe it or not, 60 seconds after that, I got a text saying, oh, I'm not sure. And then I immediately responded and I said, hey, like I said, this is going to be a conversation where you will have I'm not trying to not let you have your word. You're going to, because I saw those folks on the right trying to, put some fear into you.
And this is.
Am I right?
I have a case going on, a legal case.
That wasn't about the case.
What I wanted to make sure was that I would be cleared to do that. And you made it very clear you would not be discussing the case. But, I go on a lot of my gut and my instinct, and I'm very intuitive. I knew talking to you, like I got my panties in a twist for a minute when I was pissed off at you about the YouTube stuff.
Right.
But, talking to you, I knew I liked you.
And
my intuition was good, and it turned out to be lovely. We're friends.
We are going to do this.
Going to be singing Free to Be You and Me at any point.
Excellent. We're going to be doing the show again, talking economics. How good are you at economics?
I'm pretty good. I'm good philosophically.
No, I want economics. Are you solid on economics?
I'm not.
Are you solid on economics? Right-wing economics?
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. We can talk.
Good.
Well, I'll bring both of you back in here, and we'll actually talk trickle-down economics versus versus regular economics. And I'm running out of time.
Regular economics. You mean economics?
Okay. So anyway, I want to thank.
Socialism is a regular economics.
Yes, socialism is regular.
Well, you all will not have the last word on that. I will. Economics. The right way. But anyway, thank you very much, Angela, for being a part of the show.
The right way.
Thank you.
We'll have
from a leftist.
Guys, be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet.
By the way, I want to thank Bruce. Thank you, Bruce. You know Bruce.
Yes, I do.
I'm still confused about the name of the show.
Yeah, we need about $200 more for Politics Done Right. 713-526-5738. Please call before Egberto goes off the air. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
He loses his mind with us.
Anyhow, Angela Box, thank you very much for being with us.
How much is he short? I'll do 100. Huh?
What's your?
Thank you. Well, fill a pledge form out for you when you come out.
Thank you, sir.
I'll give 100.
5738.
Okay, we got to go. Thank you very much for being with me.
Please.
Thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Williams. You can personally reach me by sending an email to egberto@politicsdoneright.com. Remember, Egberto is spelled E-G-B-E-R-T-O. Change starts with you. 90.1 KPFT gives you information not tainted by corporate interest. Please visit kpft.org and contribute. Let's ensure continued access to real information and news remain available to all. Again, thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right.